Heyo everybody, and welcome back to another ranked replay in Mechabellum. Before we go in, once more, a quick shout out. The next second STL Mechabellum tournament is coming up. 1st of July is the date, so get yourself signed up right now down below. 32 slots just like last time. If you come too late, you might miss your spot, so go down there, get your sign up in. And yeah, let's continue with the replay. Let's freaking go. There will be a prize pool again for the second STL Taco tournament and all of that stuff. But yeah, let's have a look on this lovely game here. Protoss versus Bast. As I'm down here, choosing one of the buffed specialists that lately got some nice love. The control cost specialist, now with 13 and 13% reduced in hit points and attack instead of 15 and 15. So a good bit stronger. And also some slight increase in hit points, I believe it was. And the power that adds to your main hit point line. And then Crawlers, Phoenixes, one of my favorite combos as well. Enemy is going in with giant units, realizes that we have flyers and they don't have any anti-flying units. So they go in hard here in winning the first round, getting the Mustangs as early as possible. Don't believe that was necessary, but they really wanted to make sure that they win this round, obviously on cost for the next round here, as I, with a cost control specialist, usually try to go for an overwhelming strategy and for as many flanks as possible, and that's what we're gonna do here as well. And pushing through on the left side, Crawlers obviously also great for flanks, and so are Phoenixes with the Quantum Assembly upgrade, so that's why we go for that. Enemy here with sledgehammers, and Arclights obviously really strong against the Crawlers, so that's gonna be a problem. And yeah, the Phoenixes are decent, but obviously if the Mustangs can deal with them, they don't do super well on them on themselves either. Over here, Crawler getting demolished, Mustangs here still alive. Luckily, we deal enough damage with the Phoenixes that the single Mustang gets killed as the enemy gets pushed over here. And even though the enemy invested early on with the rapid resupply, they still get punished. Once more show that rapid resupply early on, not the best of ideas. Whilst we go for the missile here, enemy obviously has Arclights, goes for the Arclight upgrade, which is the correct choice there as well in my eyes, especially as we have Crawlers and so on, and they have potential with anti-air and so on to make these Arclights really powerful. So giving them extra XP generation is quite nice. I realized I need something against the Arclights and sledgehammers that also potentially can keep the Mustangs away from my Phoenixes, so steel balls it is, as they will also be far enough in front of the Phoenixes that the Mustangs will focus them even with the anti-air upgrade. And I went for the missile, so Mustangs taken out this turn, so I will win with the Phoenixes for sure. And I will at least deal 600 damage to the enemy, which starts to be a significant amount of damage. And thanks to the steel bolts here, we most likely will do even more, which already becomes a bit problematic. Like, with the cost control, it's all about how much damage you can do from the get-go. And this already here is going to be quite a bit of damage. I believe nearly 1000 damage here dealt to the enemy. Yes, 940 damage there dealt to the enemy. And yeah, here my choice goes for the cheaper Crawler upgrades. I always like that upgrade when I already have 4 Crawlers or more on the battlefield. The heal here is pretty strong as well though. That could have been an option. And my enemy is going for an interesting unit here. They have the Giant Specialist. And as they have the Nano Repair Kit, they also go here for the Melting Point. And that is a interesting and pretty scary choice, as with cost control we have less damage output, and against a unit like the Melting Point you need a decent amount of damage output so that you can kill them in time, especially if they get nano repair, and that might be a bit problematic here in the long run. Down in the south here we go with the flank on this part of the map, as the enemy is pretty open from the rear, but the Melting Point will gonna be a trouble. Going for the increased attack on the Crawlers. This is because I got the free level up upgrade, so with them dealing more damage they have a lot more potential of getting more XP, and then they will level up faster, which is nice. That's why I go for that upgrade. Usually, as the enemy has quite a couple of crawler, good anti-crawler units, I wouldn't have gone for the upgrade any other way. Like, it's not worthwhile to do that in a normal game, but in this position, I had the money and I thought that should be worthwhile. That's the reasoning here. But yeah, you decide if you would do the same. Over here, the Mustangs this time surviving, because the melting point eats a lot of damage and does survive all of the damage. My Phoenix is not dealing enough damage there just yet, and that means the enemy will start to come back here, which is gonna be a problem as they start to kill my melting points. And I take my steel bolts with the melting point, and I start to take some damage here as well. Really early nuke here, and I feel like the nuke is the obvious answer. The other ability is not so great. Like, either is you skip all of it or you go for a nuke. Enemy goes for acid, and I don't really see why they did that. Nuke here obviously will kill the melting point, which is fantastic, and will kill everything else that stands there as well. Should win me the round, because without the melting point, the enemy units here are pretty weak. Plus, enemy still has to find a solution here for the flank. I went in for some Phoenixes down here as well, in consideration of quantum assembly in the long run. And the enemy will have to find a solution here for the south. Puts an arc light there against the crawlers. Nuke coming up. And yeah, 2 more shields here. Acid being deployed. But as I said, I'm not standing still, so acid is a weird choice. It is mostly good against stationary units. Over here we went for some steel bolts as well. Those occupy the Mustangs for quite a while. Once the nuke is coming in. Really fortunate that a couple of these Mustangs even get shut down as well. Enemy used the defensive missile down here, but the Phoenixes got through, so they survived there. And with the nuke in the north, the victory here is clear, and we start to really dish out the damage. And once more 800 damage here this time around, and everything below 2000 is starting to get really dangerous for an enemy in the mid to late game, where you could just be one-shotted. So enemy here starting to get into a dangerous spot. Speed in my eyes here, the thing of choice, as we don't want to spend too much so that we can buy more units, and we have so many flanking units that speed means that we can collapse fast on the enemy if we win anywhere, or break through maybe through the turret quicker and disable them that way. So in my eyes, an absolute must take here. Getting myself some nice level ups. Buy myself Mustangs, because I thought maybe I could use Mustangs to deal with the enemy Mustangs. In hindsight, I wouldn't have done that again. That was a bit of a mistake in my eyes here. Going for the energy absorption upgrade, because currently Mustang's not dealing much damage against my steel bolts, and the Arc Lights and Sledgehammer is also not the highest DPS units, so giving me more hit points and being able to regenerate, because we have the time to regenerate, is a good idea. Enemy has a melting point down here. That is obviously scary, but this one doesn't have repairs, and the one in the north does fall quickly. And with all the turrets down, the enemy here is in trouble, and now is really hard in trouble, because they are at 1000 points. Giant Hunter here, really unfortunate for the opponent. Goes for the shield upgrade. The big hit point upgrade obviously nice, but really expensive at this stage, so they couldn't afford that there, as they are already behind. We now go for Phoenixes with Elite Marksman upgrade, and this is going to be a trouble here for the enemy. Another steel ball coming around, going for the flank here. Enemy once more going for rapid resupply. Feels a bit desperate. Another melting point up here. But melting point versus steel ball, obviously both are pretty strong against each other. It's a bit of a risky move there. If you get outnumbered by the steel balls, your melting point does fall quite quickly. Missile coming around. Shield trying to protect it. Does protect at least half of the units against it. And yeah, Phoenix is really hitting hard here. Getting the kills. Collapse in the south as well. And the enemy is in massive, massive trouble. Whilst more Phoenixes move forward. And all the Mustangs do die here to the steel balls. Really good game here, and bust does go down to it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. And let me know down below what you think about the cost control upgrade in general. Do you like the cost control specialist? Or do you think the debuff that you get is too big and too risky in the late game? And what would you have done against Steel Ball, Crawler, Phoenix combo with a Arclight Sledgehammer start? Like, what would have been your choice here? Would you have gone Vulcans? Would you have gone Fortresses or anything like that? Or what would you have done in my opponent's shoes to win the game? Let me know down below. And yes, I hope to see you in the next one. I hope to see you in the tournament. Bye bye, and have a great day.